is Martin Kunle Olatero Olagbegi. I am from Owo, a trained architect, a developer, and the vice presidential candidate for Action Democratic Party. Please join me as I welcome to the studio the Action Democratic Party's presidential candidate and the next president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Engineer Yabaji Yusuf Sani.
My name is Engineer Yabaji Yusuf Sani, popularly known as YY Sani. I am from Niger State. I was born in Bida, Mepe by tribe. I'm running for the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria under the Action Democratic Party. The reason why I'm running is that the country is at a stage where a purposeful, responsive, pragmatic leadership is required in order to change the narratives in this country. This country, like we all know, is a promise of greatness in terms of the natural endowment, human capital, the mere size of this country, the location of the country, and the fact that this is one of the countries that is not experiencing natural disasters. So I believe if the missing link between greatness and this country, which is the leadership, is provided, I'm sure Nigeria will become great again and it will be respected by other countries. Nigeria is a blessed country in the sense that we are one of the few countries that have oil and gas, and any country that has oil and gas as abundantly available as we have it in this country should have no business with hunger. We shouldn't be killing ourselves. We should be one of the people on earth that enjoy quality life. But here we are in this country today. We have been described as the poverty capital of the world. I think we have the highest population of people that are migrating from Nigeria to other climes. We have over 13 million children out of school. We are the third most terrorized country after Syria and Yemen. I believe that Nigeria is a country that somebody like myself, Engineer YY Sani, with the kind of experience I have acquired, with the knowledge of the most important sector of the economy. The most important sector of the Nigerian economy because it generates about 80% of our revenue, which means the foreign exchange which we earn, and which makes it the cash cow for this economy. And which means that if you have a leader that is informed about the operations of that sector of the economy, I think most of the problems of the country is solved, because the moment you can grow the economy of the country, most of the problems such as insurgents, the restiveness we find, the secessionist tendencies of some of the nationals in this country, the nationalism exhibited by some sections of the country, like Niger Delta, the killings going on in Northeast and North Central and other parts of the country from husband farmers clashes, Boko Haram and things like that, will be absent because everybody will have enough. Because there will be no need for somebody to think about harming the other person simply because the person is angry or is not employed or does not know where the next meal is coming from. There won't be hopelessness in the eyes of the people. So, like I said, this country is a highly promising country in terms of greatness because it has all it is. And my party, which is the ADP, Action Democratic Party, of course, has a vision of bequeathing to this country a well-organized political party which can pretend over the tiers of the government, which is what is absent today in this country. You have the three arms of the government at each other's throat: the legislature, the judiciary, the executive. There's no peace among these three arms of the government, and that is a recipe for anarchy. And of course, you can't have development under a disorganized environment like the one we have in Nigeria today. So my party, Action Democratic Party, is a party that believes in party supremacy, believes in all-inclusiveness. It believes on democratic empowerment of the youth and the women who are the future of every country. The key commitments that we would like to achieve in the first 100 days of our assumption of the presidency of this country includes quick, effective reformation of the regulatory agencies. Because in an economy like this, if the deliverable points which the regulatory agencies represent are not organized to deliver effectively to the citizens, what you find are: one, corruption, hopelessness, and a complete disconnect between the government and the nationals. So we will quickly ensure that regulatory agencies like DPR, Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Allocation Commission, like Federal Inland Revenue, like the Office of Territorial Federation, like even CBN, and other sectors of the economy, especially those operating in the oil and gas sector, who are supposed to ensure that there's accountability and transparency, are properly organized so that we can begin to have a system of governance that will be responsive, efficient, and will respect time as one of the most precious elements in governance. Because when you have government not respecting the passage or essence of time, then a lot is always at risk. Because in today's global economic setting, speed is one of the things that is a hallmark of an efficient economy. And the speed means speed in service delivery. It also means that you are able to effectively measure, monitor, and control the activities within the economy. And the only way to do that is, like I said, reform some of the agencies which the Constitution has made provisions for and an Act of Parliament has put them in place. So we will make sure that we have an efficiently run government. New models will be introduced of efficiency, of effectiveness, of responsiveness, accountability, transparency in these regulatory agencies. Because a government is as strong as its regulatory agencies. If the regulatory agencies are weak, that government is going to be weak. That government will not be responsive to the citizens, because that is the only point of service delivery to the nationals. In the Nigerian administration, our government, its first 100 days, will concentrate on ensuring that these sectors, that is, the agencies, are reformed. Effective management will be outsourced from the private sector into the public sector, so that going forward, we will now have what you call a private sector driven economy. But that's the only way you can have efficiency. That's the only way we can grow the GDP of our economy. Ensure that we take maximum advantage of the resources God has given to us. Meaning that from the agricultural products to petroleum products to solid minerals and things like that, we'll make sure that we don't wholesale export those resources in good form. We'll make sure that we add value before we export them, so that by doing so, our people will now become active. Employment will go up and value addition will be there, which means our economy will begin to benefit immensely from those things that God has given to this country. Take, for instance, today, our refineries are comatose. We export our crude oil and gas in its crude form to other economies that are strong. So we're exporting jobs out of this country. When we have graduates, when you have over 23% or so unemployment rate in the country. With the youngest population, with the intelligent, highly skilled labor in Nigeria, I believe that just concentrating on exploiting to the maximum our oil and gas sector will be enough source of revenue to aggressively develop the other sectors of the economy, such as agriculture, the service industry, manufacturing and others, housing, education, infrastructure development, health. Those sectors are yearning for development, but you need huge capital in a country as big as Nigeria, with a population of 200 million almost. I think we need a lot of capital to meet the needs of an average Nigerian. And we have enough of resources. If we are number 6 among the countries exporting crude oil and gas, if we are number 3 among the countries exporting gas, which means we're a gas nation, we have no business with hunger, like I said. And the only way you can do it is when you begin to take full advantage of those things that God has given to us. If you are able to block those leakages, the loopholes in the most important sector of our economy. People say oil is not, we shouldn't be talking about oil alone. But you cannot do without talking about oil. Nigeria, in fact, Nigeria to the international community is about oil. Without oil, not many of them will bother about what is happening in Nigeria. So, which means if countries that do not have these gifts of nature are able to organize their economy and are efficient and are today described as developed countries like Singapore, Indonesia, and Malaysia, and things like that, do not have this kind of resources which we are today. Asian tigers, we have South Korea and all these things today that are described as developed economy. And we have more resources than these people because we have the natural resources, we have the young population, inform the population. That's all you need is to bring them together and give quality life to the citizens. So I believe that Nigeria, under the administration of YY Sani, will be great, will become a developed country within the shortest possible time. We will stop the rate of unemployment. We will bring employment, full employment to Nigerians. And by so doing, you will engender peace in the country. You will bring unity. You will chase out despair. You will bring hope to the people, because the people, once the people are able to feed properly, then there will be hope. There will be unity. Nobody will have sense of deprivation in the manner that we have it today. People will like to be their brother's keeper once again. People will be able to achieve whatever they really set out to achieve for themselves. There will be no hindrance. We will make sure that the economy is restructured in such a manner that every facet of the economy is geared towards aggressive achievements in terms of delivering to citizens, in terms of making the citizens at the center of activities of the economy, and making sure that our trade with other countries is tilted towards favoring our country. Because, for instance, if you look at how we export, where we have comparative advantage, which is the oil and gas still, we export, the manner by which we sell our crude oil does not confer on us any advantage, in the sense that we do not even know where this crude oil is going to. We don't know the ultimate consignee. That is, who is buying this crude oil, we don't know. And if we know, if we have the way of knowing, we'll be able to take advantage of the trade between Nigeria and such countries to negotiate certain advantages, that bilateral trade, even for security reasons, even for political reasons. If we know that we are the one running your economy by way of the raw material we're supplying to you, we can dictate certain things that we want done, even in the global political setting. But here we are today, we sell our crude oil on FOB, which means once you bring your ship to the shores of Nigeria, what happens? Once you load it, wherever you take it to, what you do with it is not our business. No responsible country does that. Saudi Arabia here, they set their crude oil and gas on CIF, meaning that even the ship that carries the crude oil must be from Saudi Arabia, so that they will now grow the shipping industry in that country. The insurance that you take on those cargo must be obtained from Saudi Arabia, which means the insurance industry in that country will grow also. So we are losing all these opportunities that come with this gift that God has given to us, and pauperizing our people. So what our government will do is to quickly, and as a matter of urgency, see that we block all these leakages, that stealing that is endemic today in the oil and gas sector. We will stop it. We will commercialize NNPC. We are not going to sell NNPC, of course. We don't sell national assets, which are still relevant and in demand. What we will do is to attract managerial abilities. We will outsource these things from within or outside the country. If anybody has the knowledge, we'll bring it in. We'll engage people that this operational loss control experts, so that we'll now begin to block those loopholes that exist in this very important sector of the economy, so that we can quickly grow the agriculture sector. We can quickly bring jobs to Nigerians. We can quickly ensure that education is given the kind of attention it requires. Our government is going to be a government that Nigerians, as citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, will experience happiness in their lives. They will have freedom. They will have prosperity. There will be well-being. There will be security. We will ensure that we have sustainable development in all aspects of our lives, especially because the ingredients required are here. You don't have to go and import any raw materials. No. You don't have to go and import even the human capital. No. We have it in abundance. So there's no reason why we should be poor. There's no reason why we should be suffering this kind of insecurity that we suffer in this country. The only reason why you suffer insecurity is because you are not growing the economy. For God's sake, our economy in 2014 was pushing $600 billion GDP. It was growing at a rate of almost 5% or so or more. Today, that economy has shrunk to about 3.5 or 3.6 billion United dollars, and it's growing at a rate of 1.5%. So what does that tell you? It tells you that we are becoming poorer and poorer by the day. And look at our population growth. It's increasing about 2.3%. While your GDP is growing at 1.5%, your population is ballooning at 2.3%. So it's a dangerous phenomenon that we have. So we must quickly grow our economy. We have to do it. Otherwise, a time bomb So this is why we know that Nigerians need people like Engineer Sani at this point in time of the development of this country, because I have the knowledge. I know what I'm talking about. I know what to do. I know how to turn things around. Things can be turned around in this country because everything required are there. I don't have to talk to any other country to give me what I need before this country can become great. It's a matter of employing. That's why I say I'll commercialize NNPC. And also NNPC will commercialize other sectors of the economy, like I said, the regulatory agencies. I will make sure that the private sector is brought into those regulatory agencies like FIRS, like I say, Revenue Allocation Commission, Waste and Measures Department. You have some of these, agencies of the government that need to be private sector driven, so that your entire economy will become private sector driven, and you will now be able to achieve that, which is the essence of government: providing security, providing good life, and providing hope to the citizens. So a country where people are hopeless, in despair, like we have here, it's an accident that we cannot afford to happen. I believe that the strategies that we need to implement in ensuring that we have effective governance, good governance, and to deepen the democracy in this country is to ensure that we grow this economy, because that is the only secret. There's nothing more that you need to do. If you can grow the economy of this country, you have solved three principal problems that we have today. Insecurity will disappear. Insurgency, which brings insecurity, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about separatism, as people wanting to leave the country because they don't feel that they're being carried along. That will also die down. You will also not have people, flexing these nationalistic tendencies, because everybody will have enough. So you won't have the problem of Niger Delta, who are saying, we have to have more percentage in terms of the revenue allocation. What have the distribution? You won't have the IPOP cases. You won't have Boko Haram, because there will be enough food. The things we'll be battling with now will be, how do you now live as a people? And look at Norway, for instance. There's no poverty in that country anymore. They've chased out poverty. So how did they do it? They took advantage of the oil and gas sector, which God gave them, to ensure that the people in that country are living very well, living good life. So we can do it here too. I know the population is huge, but you can begin to ensure that some of these elementary things, some of these basic things, fundamental things like poverty, and like education, health, good drinking water is provided for people, so that you don't have unnecessary endemics that we normally have, like cholera and all these things. All these things are there because we don't have good drinking water. You can provide it as a government. We will have, as a strategy, reduce or eliminate insecurity. Because look at what's happening. Where we are becoming poor at such a fast rate is that if farmers are not able to go to farm to produce food, and if you know that 70% of the population is in rural areas, every economy, the agriculture sector, plays a dominant role. And these farmers are not able to produce food again because they are afraid of their lives. People can go and kill them. So what it means is that you will have a poor country because your nationals are not able to carry out those economic activities that they used to carry out. That's why we are going to target growing the economy, as one of number one priority. And then in our trade, like I said, things like relationship with other countries, we make sure we take full advantage of what God has given to us. To ensure we negotiate bilateral terms, bilateral trade, with other countries. Of course, Africa will be the center of our foreign policy because we believe that Africa has everything that you require. But the next frontier is Africa. This is the continent that has the youngest population, the continent that have more than 35% of the global resources, deposited here. So where else do you want to go to? And there is a country that is free, by and large, of all these natural disasters. You find you have a continent that is waiting, yearning to be developed. And so for that reason, and for other reasons like political reasons and what have you, Africa will be the centerpiece of our foreign policy. So Nigeria can begin to exercise its dominance in terms of leading the political, socio-economic policies that will enhance the life of Africans. I think Nigerians have a golden opportunity to turn things around for this country. That is the February 16 presidential election. This is democracy. Democracy means that you have the power to change a government if that government is not fulfilling your basic needs in particular. So we are asking Nigerians to vote for Engineer Waisani, vote for ADP, vote for positive change in their lives, positive impact in their lives. And we believe that we have what it takes. We have the knowledge, we have the experience. I have traveled wide. I have been in contact with the international community in terms of trade between Nigeria and Europe and America. I know that Nigeria has potential for greatness, but we must vote wisely. We must vote for ADP. Because a vote for ADP is a vote for greater Nigeria. It's a vote for security. It's a vote for prosperity. It's a vote for peace in this country. So this is why we're asking Nigerians to vote for ADP, so that we will not be left behind, so that we will not allow this catastrophe that is about to happen to us as a country. Companies are leaving this country in droves. Financial institutions are leaving this country. It shouldn't be so. We're a country that should be the preferred destination for foreign investments. So for us to now be the ones that people are avoiding, it's unfortunate. That is not our lot. That's why we're saying people should vote for ADP, vote for Engineer Waisani, so that we'll have a greater country, in terms of its capacity, in terms of prosperity that will bring, in terms of happiness that will bring to our people, in terms of security that we are going to have. On the February 16th, please look for number party with the symbol of a book, right hand holding the book, and vote wisely. Vote for it.
Fellow Nigerians, time has come for us to take a deep breath and reflect on the journey so far and the momentous journey ahead of us. I want you to vote for me as the next president of this country, not because I'm the only person running for this very, very important office in Nigeria, but because I know that for the sake of this country, for the sake of our children, we need to take action at this point in time. God has given us an opportunity to once again begin the process of rebuilding this country. We are all witness to the fact that the promise of greatness, when in 2015 Nigerians voted against an administration that was not performing up to expectation. And 4 years later, we are now at a crossroad again. I'm asking Nigerians to vote for me because I have the honest feelings about the sorry state that this country has found itself in. And I have the prerequisite experience to solve some of the basic problems like insecurity, poverty, the unnecessary killings, which can be traced to the fact that our economy and other vital statistics about this country have nosedived. And the solution, which I believe we need to apply, is to grow the economy of this country.